What's going on, guys? I hope all you are doing is great as you can be right now with this tough time and this very hard world. I was not going to make this video. I told many videos before I don't talk about politics, talk about what's going on out in the world. I tried to do that. I try to strictly stay to gun and gear reviews only, but there's just something I just wanted to express my thoughts and perspective on some things going on right now in this world. Just kind of talk about it in different forms and aspects. Start off the year, COVID-19 has just slammed everyone with all the deaths we have had, all the illnesses, the businesses, and people spend time with their family and just everything. It's totally had an impact. We had a pandemic. Get to phase 2, think things are going to be back to normal and us be joined back together again. And then the tragic death of George Floyd in Minneapolis happened. So that's what I want to talk about right now and some other things. For those of you who've watched me before on YouTube, know my career choice. I'm a sheriff's deputy. And that's something, it was not really necessarily what I've always wanted to do, is to get in law enforcement. But I got into law enforcement for pretty much one reason. Growing up, seeing stuff, becoming a teenager, becoming a young adult, and seeing small things all over basically social media is what is everyone's news. It's social media. Seeing more of bad occurrences with law enforcement is what a lot of social media post. Minneapolis. For those of you out there watching that's probably pissed at me just from being in law enforcement, I understand you. I'm not sitting here bashing you when I talk about nothing. I understand. I understand, because being a law enforcement officer and then Minneapolis happens, how do all cops look in most people's eyes? Take your average citizen, show that video of not just one officer but 4 that was involved in this tragic death. Take 4 officers and it goes viral, hundreds of millions of views all over the world. For people of color that sees that, and it has happened more and more that you do see, and social media does share that. I can't sit here and say I understand how I know how you feel. I've talked to a couple people about this. I have many friends of all different ethnicities and talked to them quite a bit about what's going on, and it's taken, I can't say I understand you or how you're feeling, but then again, I can say I know the anger you are feeling. To people of color, they see that and then nothing was really done. Yes, someone was charged. I'm not going to sit here and say, was it good enough or not? It shouldn't happen in the first place. That's all I'm going to say. That should not have happened in the first place with George Floyd. Sitting on someone's neck with your knee for 8 to 9 minutes after yelling, they can't breathe, they can't breathe, they can't breathe. I've seen people's smart comments out here saying, if someone's saying they can't breathe, then they can breathe. Don't be ignorant. Don't, please. You got your comments and your views. I can't respect everybody's stuff, but I can say I take in everybody's stuff, and I can't bash this side, who's over here, who's in the middle. Everybody has their own opinions and things they look at life. But to people that say that you don't understand how it feels as it keeps happening, I don't understand how you personally feel, but I can say how myself feels, and I can speak for many officers that I know and that I work with, and people not even with the agency I'm on. We don't understand how another black male dies from law enforcement. What we understand and what we take in is the anger we have from 4 officers. I'm not going to say one particularly because I say 4. I'm not just blaming the officer on his neck. I'm not doing that. But have 4 officers do that. It does not matter if it's viral. Even if that was not viral, it does not matter. It pisses us off as this. I'm not going to say few because there is plenty of good officers out here. I can speak for hundreds of officers I know. They're great people. And I'm going to speak for myself. We understand the anger. We do understand that. Because nothing pisses off a law enforcement officer than a bad cop doing the wrong. Whenever you're first sworn into an agency, you swear to an oath. And some people take that oath and try to make that into power. I cannot stand people that think I make this much money, you make this much. Or I work in this career field, you work in this. I have this car, you have this. That does not matter. We are all human beings. Act like it. To law enforcement, to anyone out here, act like it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a deputy. I'm a human being. I'm a citizen of the United States. Someone asked me, well, who are you? I'm a person. I'm not going to say I'm a deputy. I'm a person. Plain and simple. So everybody out there that is saying it's right now what's going on is race and cops. That's what it's all over social media right now. Is everything you scroll through, out of 3 things, you'll see at least one thing about riots, the George Floyd death, and just police brutality. I'm against police brutality. I don't put up with it, and spoke to a lot of people I work with about it, and I've not heard one negative thing from them. And not gonna throw a lot of cuss words out here and F-bombs and stuff. I'm not gonna do that for whoever is watching this. Everybody said that was effed up. And if they were beside that person, they would have jerked them off in an instant. And I've done the same. A man is cuffed, lying face down on his stomach. Whether you know he has health conditions or not, he's in custody. Don't proceed to make the situation worse. And then the black male died. There could have been things that could have been prevented, a lot more than that. And I know some officers that are watching this right now, if you don't agree with what was wrong, you got to think about who you are as a person. That is not right in anyone's eyes. And like I said, it's hard to take in because I hate seeing these small things that very few officers do. And the good officers do not get recognized of what is going on. It needs to stop, period. It needs to be equal across the board for all law enforcement officers on not how to work, but how to be a normal person. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want to get treated like a piece of crap, don't be a cop. It's plain and simple. So, to everyone out there that says that we don't understand how it feels, we do understand the anger. Because I know a lot of officers I've seen on social media have voiced their opinions, and I love what they have done. I have loved seeing all the media out here with what is right and what is wrong. That's basically what it is. Now, voicing your opinion in a peaceful protest, I'm all for that. I love people going out here marching and doing a peaceful protest on getting their voice out. That's what everybody needs to do. Get your voice out. But taking that anger and trying to get revenge and tear down your own cities, cause harm to others and the city you live in, do you want to be walking on ashes in your city? Or do you want to stand tall in your city and speak your voice? That's where we need to come together. And I have loved seeing this past weekend. I've worked all weekend. I've loved seeing all over the news and all over Facebook of everyone coming together. I've loved seeing everyone peacefully protesting. And I've also loved seeing law enforcement taking a stand and believing what they feel is right and joining with everybody as a whole. Because that is what we need more than anything right now, is come together as one and not be divided like we are going. It is going to get worse and worse. And all we can do is sit here and pray. But not only that, sit here and make a difference. So the biggest goal getting law enforcement was for me to make a difference. It cannot take one person to make a difference. No one person in this world, not even the President of the United States, no one can make a difference on the world. Everybody has to come together as one and do that. That's the only way this is going to change. As far as police brutality, it does need to stop. It's out of hand. It's been going on for quite some time, and it's not called for. So let's go. Sorry, like I said, I'm just literally trying to put my thoughts out here and my perspective of what's going on. To the people that think riots are going to make a difference, it's going to make things worse. Because eventually, it's already happened in plenty of cities, but eventually it's going to be everybody against each other. Don't care what your color is, don't care what your workforce is, it don't matter. Everybody's going to be going after each other. There's not, let's stand here, let's stand here. So people that have told me stuff, or I've seen stuff on, say, Facebook or Instagram or all the videos, and seeing people's opinions, it is not, I don't want to say it pisses me off or anything, but because what's been going on for a while has, it's you'll see it go down and go up, something will happen. So everybody is voicing their opinion, which I like. Guys, we have to do it together, and we have to do it peacefully. Take a stand in your community, but don't burn it down. This morning about 8 a.m., I was typing a report, finished up my case I had for work, and I was sitting at a church near a campground and a graveyard in the back. A black male I saw was walking up to me. Rolled my window down, asked him how he was doing. Just talking. It wasn't questioning him. He was not saying anything. It was just two normal human beings talking, having a conversation. Well, me and this gentleman, we got to talking for about 30, 45 minutes. And he told me, hey, I'm just coming over here to walk. So if you ever see me take a bunch of laps around, I get out here on Sunday mornings and exercise around the church. Love that. Get out with everything going on and being shut down and people being isolated at home. Love seeing people out getting exercise and just being in the community. It's good to see people. Like I said, for a couple months, yeah, working seeing people, but being locked inside and not going out anywhere, it's been a little difficult. I see multiple different kinds of people with my job. I like seeing the people. You get to meet a lot of new people and just see who these people are and get to know them. Some of these people you get to know in a bad way. Some of these people you don't. You actually get to know people and say if someone's having a bad time with depression, something going on with the family, work, whatever. Talk to these people and get to know them. I love that. I've talked to many of people that have had a bad day and had bad thoughts in their head of doing something to their self that they regret. And just really get to open up and just listen. Not question, but let them talk and listen and fully understand what they're saying and say, just listen to people. It's very easy in this job is just let people talk and get to know them. So me and this gentleman, we talked for quite some time and just asking questions and asking him where he lived at, because I saw him walk from a neighborhood and he's out walking, and told me he sees me up here quite a bit. We sit at a lot of church and business parking lots to have reports and check on, make sure nothing's going on. We've done that forever since I've been there. And he asked me how I've been. After we got to talking, he just said, "How are you doing with everything?" The question, it's doing as good as we can. Talking to this male and figuring out some stuff with him, told me for about 3 years, a long time ago, he went down a wrong road and went to prison. That was 20 plus years ago, he told me. Had 5 kids and a wife, lost everything, got mixed in with the wrong crowd and went to prison for some stuff he did. Got out, gained his relationship back with his wife, all 5 of his kids, and that's been about 25, 27 years, he said. And things are going good. And he said when he's in there, he really thought about what was going on. And not one time did I look at this male, this gentleman, I didn't look at him for his color. I didn't look at him for what he told me he's been to prison. None of that mattered. We had a heart-to-heart conversation. Just 2 people talking. I don't care what you've done in your past. I don't care what you believe in. If you're on the left, if you're on the right, I don't care. And I don't even want to use those terms, Democratic or Republican. I don't care what you are. None of that bothers me, and none of that should bother anybody. So we got to talking, and we opened up, and he wanted me to open up to him, I could tell. And just getting to know this gentleman, it really opened up a lot to me. And he told me something it's been said, but it needs to be said over and over and over. And he told me, I never judge anybody from either being a cop, from being white, black, Hispanic, Asian, male, female. If you don't believe in Christ, nothing. He said, I look at people and judge people based on their morals and their actions that they take and who they are. You can't get to know somebody, you can't judge somebody, my apologies, unless you know that person. It's terrible whenever someone does something, and I will speak up for it. Someone does something and say, it was a black male, or, oh, this cop did this. Do you know those person? Do you know those people? Or do you just saying this because the media has put this out and what has happened in the past from several people? So I don't look at anybody when I'm working. I go up to calls all the time, whether stolen vehicles, domestics, whatever. Been on plenty of domestics lately with everything going on. And I get there, whether they're yelling at each other, what's going on, cussing, have a cussing match, I don't know and I don't care. I get there and I ask everybody, tell me who I am, say who I work for, and what is going on today. I sit back and I listen. Listen to this person's side, listen to this person's side. Not pull up to a call, see 2 people going at it, okay, screw it, take 2 sets cuffs out, okay, we're both going with me. Get to know people. That's plain and simple, get to know people. Because you find out a lot about who someone really is, like I said, based on their actions taken. All that mail, like I said, it's been one of those days at work where it was pretty rough. I'm hoping I get to talk to that Mel again. I do know what road he lives on. I'd like to go speak to him again. it was good talking to him, and it really just brought me and him just connected and just talked and got to know each other. He asked me everything about me. I asked him everything about him. And it was good just knowing that years ago, he told me, and he just recently retired from his own business and stuff. And he's asked me if I know a couple people with other departments and stuff that he's talked to and stuff. And he's got people on both. It was good knowing everything. So before we can sit here and judge any group you want to put in this category, anybody you want to put and say your groups, before you can judge those people, make sure you know who they are. Do not just start slamming somebody because of what this race did, what this cop did, what this group did. There is good and bad people in this world. And I believe in heaven and hell. So before I said, just take time and really think about what you're doing. So for all the people that is going out here protesting, peacefully doing it and getting your word out and heard, whether you hear thousands, hundreds of thousands of people yelling all at once, just think about there is people listening. So if you think that's not good enough and then you need to go and destroy stuff, and I'm not blaming any race for the riots because it is all kinds going right now. So there's not a pinpoint finger on anybody. There again, you see one race do this, you see one race do that. Don't pinpoint the whole race or that group. You can't do that. Everybody is out here doing, well, I can't say everybody, but many different people out here doing it. So you can't blame anybody for that. But just understand their anger. But guys, the anger needs to be heard by voice. It needs to be heard doing something in your communities. Either your local law enforcement, with your mayors, you got everything. You need to get your voice out there. All four, so the protests and get-togethers. I said protests usually happen for a couple weeks to a month. They die out. Guys, don't let them die out. Let the riots be gone, please. But make sure you're keeping up with your communities. Go into your local police departments and sheriff's office and talking to them and see how things can be better. See what needs to be improved in this category or this category. Guys, we want to hear your voice. Everyone wants to hear your voice right now. From all sides. It needs to be heard. We need to say it. And we not need to hide behind what we believe in. But then again, we need to show what we believe and do it in a right and peaceful way. So sorry for the long 23-minute rant. I'm sorry this was not a gear review. Just wanted to talk about and open up on how I believe we need to come together as one. Y'all have a good day.